Hello, fellow problem solvers. So today we're going to be doing a review of what happened in the channel in 2020 and 2021. This is going to be sort of my perspective type of thing, video. I don't know if you can get that much value out of this, except perhaps on the announcement that I will also put in the timestamps below, which will come at the end of the video. And without further ado, let's begin. So this channel started off as a project idea in 2020. I thought to myself, let's start a YouTube channel in this competitive mathematics. There are people that are solving problems and getting some subscribers, some views. And I thought to myself, hey, these people don't focus a lot on the actual logic behind why you do a certain thing, but they're more like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. It felt a bit more like, oh, okay, there's not a lot of logic into what actually goes there, like the intuition behind the problem. So I said to myself, okay, let me actually make the intuition part. Let me actually talk about this part that actually helps you solve problems, not just me presenting a solution to you, but actually tell you, okay, so now why do we do this? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? And I think there's a lot of value to be gained from knowing why the problem solver took certain steps. So starting the channel was difficult, and here's why. It's difficult to talk to a camera when you're alone in a room. Talking to a human being is great because you have a reaction. You say something, there's a reaction, and then you figure out what you're going to say next. You know how to have pauses when you're presenting in front of humans, because they might be asking a question. You can slow up, speed up, depending on the situation. Versus this, it's pre-recorded, and you have to, figure out how you're going to be doing this. And you also are more self-conscious about your pauses. I cut those out sometimes, so as to make the video more interesting and more engaging and keep you engaged. And with that in mind, it took me a week. Actually, no, it took me 3 weeks at the minimum, I think a month and a half, to make my first video. And in 2020, I was able to make 6 videos, I think, 5 or 6. And I had 20 subscribers. And I'll be honest, it was demotivating. It was just, I thought to myself, wow, I thought to myself I'm very good at teaching, and I thought, okay, I'll have hundreds and thousands of subscribers soon. Turns out that's not how this whole thing works. And I was just demotivated, and I thought to myself, okay, I won't look at YouTube for the next 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of 2020, I was like, I'm not gonna check YouTube. And then in January 13th or 14th, I checked YouTube and I have 80 subscribers. 80. From 20, I did 4x. It's not thousands, but it's a lot more than I had previously. So that was, whoa, what's happening? And then over the next 2 weeks, I grew to 1,000, like boom, to the moon. And then it plummeted to +0, +0, +0, +0, -1, -1, 1, -1, -1. So, and I couldn't make a lot of videos because I was starting my 7th semester at Brown, and I only had 2 videos that I've recorded beforehand that I hadn't edited, and I didn't have a computer to edit on. And I need to figure all of that out while also taking classes. So that was just difficult. And what happened next, I made these. I made 2 videos during my time at Brown, that 7th semester, and then came the summer. I decided to make more videos to see if I can actually push this channel again, have it grow. So I thought, okay, let me just be like very consistent. And I decided, okay, let me make 1 video a week at the exact same time. And then I said, okay, let me make 2 videos a week. 3 videos a week was my, I think, top productivity. Yeah, like 3 math videos a week. And then I stopped. And then came the IMO 2021. I made those videos and I started seeing growth in the channel again. Like growth in the number of subscribers. Like that was, in July, some growth. And I hit a jackpot by doing the second problem of the 2021 IMO, the most discussed problem, I believe, at the IMO, because there are two camps of people saying this should not have been on the IMO, this is like college level math, and people saying, no, this is what actual math is about, this is thinking, this is a good problem. And probably that was the hardest number 2 problem, I think, in the history of the IMO. Maybe not in the history of the IMO, but definitely in the recent history, the hardest one I know of. So that was interesting, and that's where I saw a lot of growth again. But the thing that really kept me going, and the reason I decided to make these videos, continue making them, is because of words of encouragement and positive feedback from you, the viewers. It's not just likes. Likes help, they tell me like, okay, you like the video, it's good. But a comment also tells me something more specific, and it can be very encouraging. For example, in my video on the IMO 2021, problem number 1, this person called Miguel, I think that's the username, commented, I got 5 out of 7 points on this video, on this problem, not this video. I got 5 out of 7 points on this problem. Your videos helped a lot. This was enough for me to win a bronze medal. It was something along that sentiment. And I thought to myself, whoa, this is so cool. I'm actually making something that's useful to somebody in a very tangible way here at the IMO. Whoa. And that was sort of the goal to begin with. So with that, I then asked you, because I saw there was like some growth, and I thought, how can I have more growth? I thought, okay, maybe some coding as well. I also need to get better at like technical interviews. So like, I'll do that as well. So I did that. I asked you, do you want that? You said, yeah, pretty much. And so I decided, okay, let's do that as well. So made some of those videos, and those are taking a bit more time. And if I think back to it, I try to make them once a week on a Wednesday. It didn't work out consistently. And I think back to how long it took me to make these regular videos on math initially. So that's why I go easy on myself with the coding parts of the channel. But I think it's like more diverse, like competitive programming and just programming in general. And again, I continue making this, even though I had a much worse performance than my other math videos, because I think a person commented that I'm getting value out of, like, thank you for making these. I've been trying to get into programming or something. Like, there was a comment on that. And that's why I decided, okay, there's this one person that's getting use out of this. Let me continue making these. This reasoning might not be incredibly sustainable, but at the current moment, it's one of the big reasonings behind how I decide to make videos. And I decided to do a face reveal, talking about how to get better at combinatorics, number theory, geometry, for a couple of reasons. I'll talk about those later, but a big reason why I decided to do that is because of this project that I had in mind since August. But before the project, I also decided to try to capitalize on being at Brown, final semester there, and sort of gain some like educational value there. And also me myself learned something that was difficult, I couldn't really keep up with. That the two math explainers per week, and trying to get coding in as well. And also doing classes and also figuring out what I'll do with my life after I graduate. Just didn't fit in. But at the same time, I was very happy that this channel had some consistent viewers. When I uploaded a math video, within 24 hours, it would get like 40 or 50 views. And sure, one of those views might be mine, but there are other people looking at my channel somewhat consistently. And that feels like, wow, there's actual living human beings on the other side of this gaining value. And with that, I want to get to this announcement, because the channel has grown from that 1,000 in the beginning of January, so 1,500, and that 500 really has, the bulk of it has happened over the last 4 months. And I think the next sort of step is, yes, to make more of these videos and have them in different forms. I'm going to try to put that, like do some like videos that are on the computer, like make them on a Zoom whiteboard, math videos. I'll make a couple of more with the pen and paper. And I'm going to try out this board again. The reason I initially didn't want to do the board was because I didn't want to do a face reveal, but also because of the lighting that I never got to work. Like there's a shadow now, and when you're me, you look at every single detail. But now I decided, you know what, forget about the shadow. I'll just make the videos and I'll see how you respond to them. If you really hate the shadow, I will really look at the lighting. But that has been like the most difficult part. No matter how I set up the lighting, it's like I tried a lot of things. It's been difficult getting that to work. But anyways, I don't think that's the most important part. I think that could potentially be another avenue for videos. And for 2022, I want to create a fellowship, Chefs of Problem Solving Fellows. The idea is that I get a couple of you and I will mentor you personally, free of charge, because it's the first time that I'll be doing this. So it's free of charge, and it's also something to promote the channel, and it's also something for me to like figure out how to do. And here's where I want your ideas or advice, because I'm thinking of a couple of things. I'm thinking of a Google form, your info, 2 exams to sort of corroborate that, and maybe a final interview to corroborate that as well. And I'm also thinking about creating some Discord chats. Like I might not be able to take all of you. I'll probably be able to take 5 to the most 10-ish of you, so that there's actually some use that you get out of this. And so that because I'm actually going to be doing this part-time, not full-time. There's no way I can do that full-time. And given that, I'm going to try and make this form. And I'm also thinking to place you into a Discord chat based on people of a similar, place you in a Discord or a Slack or whatever sort of form, like chat sort of thing, where you're with people of a similar level that you are at, where you can maybe perhaps help each other out, sort of build that part. And I think with that is like the main sort of big announcement. And here's where I want your advice. What questions should I ask you in this personal statement? How do I form this? What legal entity do I need to think about when I'm making this? Because I am thinking about that. That has been actually the major reason why I haven't announced this sooner, because I've been researching how to get a legal entity to be able to do this. And also, how should I promote this, right? And also maybe how can I expand this, right? I think these are all interesting questions that I want your feedback on. I'm thinking right now, maybe just going to be me this time. Might be other people in the future. I don't know. But I think this can be something that's potentially very interesting and potentially very useful. So I'm excited about it. I'm also thinking about the actual nitty-gritty steps, and we'll see what happens there. And with that, that is sort of the review of 2020, 2021, the announcement. And I just want to say, one more time that your comments legitimately are very useful at times. At times, not always, don't get me wrong. My videos aren't always useful to you. Your comments aren't always useful to me. So I tend to get some value out of that. And I think when you don't know that, because you're probably like, when I was watching videos before, and just watching, not making any of these, you don't really understand why people say, comment down below. Like, sure, get some engagement, that's great, let's do that. But also it helps for me to get some feedback, whether the things I'm doing are good or bad, wrong or right, how I can improve. That is always something that if you want to say how I can improve videos, put it out in the comments. Sometimes I take those comments, sometimes I don't. For example, there's been a comment on you should be more tidy in like how you make these, how you write things down, to which I decided that's too much of a worry. That's too much work for me to try to like tidy up. I like this sort of like things are everywhere here. And even sometimes in the papers. And I think like that's too much. I don't get much returns on that. But anyways, that is sort of the big part of this. But anyways, that is the review of 2020, 2021. The channel has grown significantly. Like in 2021, if I think about it, at the beginning I had around 20 subscribers, now it's 1,500 a year later. Though if I count from February, it's a 50% increase, not a many times fold increase. So this has been an interesting journey. If you have any suggestions, put them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for problem solving.